The winter of 1853 was the kind that punished everything it touched, a winter that split logs, cracked bone, and hollowed out the lungs of any man foolish enough to travel the northern frontier. The sky hung low and bruised, swollen with storms that never fully broke, and beneath it, the Mackenzie River groaned under a crust of ancient ice so thick it seemed to hold the memory of every soul that had ever perished on its banks. Across that frozen world trudged a small party of Hudson's Bay men, their boots sinking into snow that squeaked like dry sand. Behind them, tied to a sled, lay the frozen corpse of Augustus Richard Peers, a trapper who had died 3 days earlier under circumstances none of them dared to discuss. They walked in silence, not out of respect, but out of fear. Peers' body was heavy, too heavy, as though the cold had fused his spirit to the flesh, refusing to let him go. By the time dusk smeared itself across the sky like a bruise, the men were exhausted. Frost clung to their eyelashes like tiny needles. Their breath froze in their beards. Their hands burned with that deep, bone-cold ache that feels like the body begging to give up. And then it came, a voice. At first it blended with the wind, a low rumble, distant, mournful. "Keep going." One of the men stopped so abruptly the line behind him collided into his back. "What did you say?" he whispered. Another shook his head. "I didn't say anything." The wind stilled. The trees held their breath. Even the dogs froze, ears twitching. Then the voice came again, sharper this time, clearer, slicing through the silent tundra like a blade. "Keep going." This time, it came from behind them. From the sled, the dogs began whining, their bodies trembling, their ears pinned flat. Then, without warning, their fear turned to frenzy. They lunged forward with such force that the tow line snapped tight like a whip, jerking the sled violently down the trail. "Hold them," someone shouted, but the dogs no longer obeyed. The men stumbled after them, dragged helplessly by a force far stronger than animal panic. Snow sprayed into the air as the sled skidded wildly, the corpse beneath the canvas bouncing as though something inside it was trying to rise. "Keep going." The voice no longer sounded human. It was layered, echoing like many mouths speaking at once, like something ancient had borrowed the dead man's throat. The men ran until their lungs burned, until their legs buckled, until the world blurred into a smear of white and shadow. They were half mad with terror when the outpost finally came into view, a lonely cabin with a lantern flickering in the window. The dogs halted instantly, panting, foaming, collapsing into the snow. The men collapsed too, gasping, shaking, unable to speak. For a long time, none of them dared look at the corpse, but one did, and he swore for the rest of his life that the dead man's eyes, which had been frozen shut when he died, were now half open, glassy, unblinking, staring down the trail they had traveled, as though watching for someone still following. He insisted until his dying breath. "We weren't hauling him to safety. We were running from whatever had already taken him. Please like and subscribe."